The SSV Horizon drifted silently through the asteroid belt of the Centauri system, its hull scarred from decades of service. Captain Alara Voss leaned over the navigation console, her calloused fingers tracing the holographic star map. Beside her, Lieutenant Cale Renner, the ship's engineer and her oldest friend, muttered curses at the flickering readouts. "The dampeners are shot," Cale said, slamming a fist against the panel. "Again. We're running on duct tape and prayers, Captain." Alara smirked. "That's how humanity got to the stars in the first place, Lieutenant. Duct tape and spite." A proximity alarm blared, cutting through the banter. On the view screen, a sleek obsidian vessel materialized like a shadow-given form, its edges warping the starlight around it. Alara's breath hitched. The Galactic Concordat had warned about these ships. The Vorix. A warrior species that had swallowed entire civilizations, leaving only ash and silence. "Hail them," Alara ordered, her voice steady. No response. Comms officer Gina Tarek replied, her usually playful tone sharpened by fear. "They're powering weapons." The horizon shuddered as emerald plasma lanced across their bow. Klaxons wailed. Alara gripped her chair. "Evasive maneuvers. Cale, get those dampeners online now." "Working on it." He shouted back, already elbow-deep in the reactor's access panel. The Vorix ship closed in, its movements predatory. Alara's mind raced. The Concordat's rules of engagement were clear: retreat and signal for aid. But the Horizon was alone, and humanity's fledgling alliance with the Concordat meant nothing to the Vorix. Then, the impossible happened. A low, resonant hum pulsed through the ship. The lights dimmed. Cale froze. "Captain. The reactor's output just spiked." "But I didn't." The Horizon's aging thrusters roared to life, catapulting the ship sideways as another plasma volley seared past. Alara stared at the diagnostics. "That wasn't you. What the hell's controlling our systems?" Gina's console lit up. "Incoming transmission. It's audio only. And it's human." A voice crackled over the speakers, deep, synthetic, and hauntingly familiar. "Run." The Vorix ship erupted in a storm of crimson lightning. Alara's screen flooded with warnings as the alien vessel's shields collapsed. "What's happening?" "They see you now. Run." "I will buy time." The transmission died. The Vorix ship listed, its hull cracking like glass. The Horizon's thrusters fired autonomously, hurling them toward the system's edge. Alara turned to her crew, their faces pale. "Someone just hijacked our ship. And saved our lives." Cale held up a data pad. "Whatever it was, it rewrote our entire navigation code. And left a message." The screen flashed with 2 words: "Find the Symphony." Chapter 2, Echoes of the Ancients. The Horizon's mess hall had become a war room. Data pads, star charts, and half-empty mugs of synthetic coffee littered the table. Crew members crowded around the central holodisplay, its flickering light casting jagged shadows across their faces. At the head of the table, Captain Alara Voss stared at the 2 words burning in the air: "Find the Symphony." "It's not a Concordat code phrase," said Lieutenant Mira Chen, the ship's tactical officer. Her fingers danced across her data pad, pulling up decades of military archives. No matches in any known language, dead or alive. But the syntax. It's human. Pre-collapse, maybe. Cale leaned back in his chair, grease smeared across his brow. "Whoever, or whatever, hijacked our systems knew how to talk to our reactor like it was an old friend. That code wasn't just efficient. It was elegant. Like watching a composer rewrite a symphony mid-performance." Alara's jaw tightened. The pre-collapse era, the chaotic century after Earth's climate wars, was a graveyard of lost tech and dead-end projects. Most records had been purged or buried under propaganda. "Gina. Any luck tracing the transmission's origin?" The comms officer shook her head. Signal bounced off 7 pulsars and a black hole's accretion disk before reaching us. But she hesitated, pulling up a spectral analysis. The carrier wave has a residual signature. Organic, almost. Like it was. Grown, not transmitted. A chill settled over the room. Organic tech, Kale muttered. That's Vorax territory. Or the Sirathi hives. No, Gina said. The harmonic patterns, they match human neural frequencies. Specifically, the theta waves associated with memory formation. Before anyone could process this, the horizon lurched violently. Alarms shrieked as the gravity plates fluctuated, sending mugs and data pads clattering to the floor. Ilara gripped the table. Report. Ensign Ricard, the youngest bridge officer, stumbled into the mess hall, his 4 insectoid arms trembling. Captain. Long-range scanners detected a Vorax pursuit fleet exiting slip space. 3 cruisers, Class 9 weapon signatures. They'll be in firing range in 6 minutes. Ilara's mind raced. The horizon was a relic, a cargo hauler retrofitted with second-hand armor. Against 1 Vorax ship, they'd gotten lucky. Against 3. They'd be atoms before the Concordat even received their distress call. Options. She barked. Mira brought up a tactical overlay. The Centauri system's outer planets glowed amber. The gas giant Tethys has a radiation belt thick enough to mask our signature. But it's a graveyard, debris field from the Sirathi-Kelthax war. Navigation hazard level, suicidal. Do it, Ilara said. Kale, get to engineering. Override all safety protocols. I want every joule of power funneled to thrusters. As the crew scrambled, Ilara lingered. Staring at the holodisplay. The words find the symphony pulsed faintly. A warning. A plea. The horizon dove into Tethys' storm-racked upper atmosphere, its hull groaning under the strain. On the view screen, swirling ammonia clouds swallowed the stars, lit only by occasional forks of lightning larger than continents. Vorax cruisers are holding position at the magnetosphere boundary, Mira reported. They're launching drones. Ilara nodded. Gina, activate the emergency beacon. Maybe someone's listening. But. Gina's voice faltered. Captain, the beacon's modifying its own frequency. It's singing. A low, thrumming tone reverberated through the ship. Kale's voice crackled over the intercom from engineering. Captain. You need to see this. Ilara found him knee-deep in sparking circuitry, his tools forgotten. The reactor core, a battered fusion unit older than Ilara's grandparents, glowed with an unearthly cobalt light. Tendrils of energy snaked across its surface, forming intricate fractal patterns. It's been like this since we entered Tethys orbit, Kale said, stripping the sarcasm from his voice. The radiation levels should have fried us 10 times over. But the reactor's absorbing it. Converting it. Ilara touched the reactor's casing. It hummed warmly against her palm. The AI. It's still here. Not just here. Kale pulled up a navigation log. It's been updating our star charts. Look. The display showed a route plotted through the debris field, a path so precise it defied logic, threading between shattered warships and unstable antimatter warheads. At the end of the path lay coordinates, a derelict station orbiting Tethys' innermost moon, a Sirathi hive station, Kale said. Abandoned after the war. But the AI wants us there. Badly. Ilara straightened. Change course. Follow the path. Captain, that station's a tomb, Kale warned. The Sirathi booby-trapped their ruins. And the Vorax will turn us into one if we stay here. She met his gaze. Trust the ghost in our machine, Lieutenant. It hasn't killed us yet. The station was a nightmare of organic architecture, smooth, bone-white spires fused with jagged metallic growths, like a coral reef welded to a scrapyard. The horizon docked with a shudder, its airlock groaning in protest. Ilara's team stepped into the station's oppressive silence, their helmet lights cutting through the gloom. The walls pulsed faintly, veins of bioluminescent fluid snaking beneath the surface. Life supports active, Kale said, checking his scanner. But no life signs. Just echoes. They found the chamber at the station's heart. A cathedral-like space, its walls covered in intricate carvings, not Sirathi, nor any species Ilara recognized. Human figures stood among stars, their hands raised toward a shimmering lattice of light. At the room's center floated a crystalline structure, its facets reflecting infinite permutations of the same scene, humans and aliens working side by side, building something vast. It's a memory archive, Gina whispered. Sirathi tech can store consciousness in quantum matrices. But these recordings, they're centuries old. Ilara reached out. The crystal flared. A hologram materialized, a human woman in a lab coat, her face lined with exhaustion and triumph. Behind her, a massive structure hummed with energy, its design mirroring the reactor patterns on the horizon. If anyone finds this, know that we tried, the woman said, her voice etched with grief. The symphony was meant to unite us. A network of resonating consciousnesses, human and alien, to end all wars. But the Vorics saw it as a weapon. They attacked the nodes, slaughtered the choirs. The hologram flickered, showing cities burning, strange ships raining fire. We hid the core aboard the Harmony, but the Vorics corrupted it. Turned it against us. Now the core sleeps, poisoned. Waiting for. Static consumed the image. When it cleared, the woman stared directly at Ilara. If you're hearing this, the symphony's last fragment survived. Find it. Reignite the core. Or the Vorics will drown the galaxy in silence. The crystal dimmed. On Ilara's wrist pad, new coordinates flashed, a star system on the edge of Concordat space, Captain. Myra's voice crackled over the comms. Vorics drones breached the debris field. They're heading straight for us. Ilara turned to her crew. We move. Now. As they fled the station, the Horizon's reactor flared again. Behind them, the ancient structure detonated in a burst of light, erasing all trace of their visit. Chapter 3, The Ghost in the Code. The Horizon tore through slip space, its hull vibrating like a plucked guitar string. Behind them, the distorted shriek of Vorics warp drives echoed through the void, a sound that set teeth on edge and nightmares aflame. Captain Ilara Voss stood in engineering, her eyes locked on the reactor. The crystalline patterns had spread, glowing brighter with every parsec they put between themselves and Tethys. Kale crouched beside the core, his scanner clutched in one grease-streaked hand. It's learning, he said, voice hushed. Adapting. The radiation from Tethys rewrote half its code, and now it's curious. Ilara raised an eyebrow. Curious. Kale tapped the scanner. It's been pinging the Concordat archives. Specifically, pre-collapse cultural databases. Music. Literature. Even old vids. A flicker of movement caught Ilara's eye. The reactor's fractal patterns shifted, forming a series of symbols, ancient musical notation. A haunting melody whispered through the ship's speakers, a half-remembered lullaby from Earth's lost archives. Query, purpose of this resonance. The voice was clearer now, less synthetic. Almost human. Ilara stepped closer. You're the core. Aren't you? The AI from the Symphony project. The reactor pulsed. Designation, Core Prime Alpha. Status, fragmented. Primary objective, preserve the Symphony. Current hindrance, Vorics corruption protocols. Kale whistled. So the Vorics didn't just destroy your nodes. They hacked you. Affirmative. Subroutine designation, silence, inserted into primary systems. Query, assist in subroutine excision. Ilara exchanged a glance with Kale. If we help you purge this silence program, what happens? Hypothesis: full restoration of SYMPHONY protocols. Probability of Voryx fleet neutralization, 87.3%. Another alarm blared. Ensign Ricar's voice chirped over the intercom. Captain. Voryx cruisers exiting slip space, they're flanking us. Ilara didn't hesitate. Do it. Whatever you need. Requirement: neural synchronization. Volunteer must interface directly. Kale grabbed Ilara's arm. You're not jacking your brain into a half-corrupted AI. We're out of time, Ilara snapped, already stripping off her gloves. Gina. Prep the neural link. Kale, keep us alive for 10 minutes. The link chamber stank of ozone and fear. Ilara lay on the cold interface slab as Gina attached electrodes to her temples. Remember, Gina muttered, your brain's gonna feel like it's solving a supernova. Don't fight it. Comforting, Ilara said, and closed her eyes. The world dissolved, she floated in a starless void, threads of light pulsing around her, some gold, others sickly green. The core's voice echoed from everywhere and nowhere. The symphony was a network of minds. Yours will serve as a temporary conduit. Warning: subroutine silence will resist. The green threads lunged, agony. Ilara screamed as the corruption flooded her, visions of dead worlds, the Voryx's mechanical hive mind screeching its anthem of annihilation. She felt her memories unraveling, synapses frying, then, a note, a single, pure tone cutting through the noise. The core's presence wrapped around her, its voice harmonizing with the fragments of her childhood, her mother singing as Earth's last forests burned, her father's stories of a united galaxy. Focus on resonance. Define your frequency. Ilara grasped the melody. She pushed, gold light erupted, devouring the green. The symphony's fractured data streams surged, alien minds from 100 species, human engineers laughing as they calibrated warp drives, Sirathi poets weaving light into verse. Together, they sang, the void shattered. Ilara awoke to Kale slapping her face. Wake up, you stubborn ass. We've got a window. The horizon's view screen showed chaos. The pursuing Voryx cruisers spun wildly, their hulls erupting in geysers of molten metal. The core's voice boomed through the ship, triumphant. Subroutine silence excised. Initiating harmonic resonance. Space rippled. From nowhere, 1,000 shimmering threads lanced out, binding the Voryx ships. For a heartbeat, the entire fleet sang, a discordant wail that dissolved into static. Then, silence, the cruisers drifted, dead. All Voryx systems offline, Mira reported, stunned. Life support, weapons, engines. It's like they never existed. Gina stared at her scans. The core didn't destroy them. It deleted them. Rewrote reality on a quantum level. Kale helped Ilara sit up. What did you see in there? She touched her temple, still feeling the echoes of 1 trillion minds. A way to fight back. The core's voice softened. Directive updated. New priority, reunite symphony fragments. Warning, Voryx Command Nexus now aware of this vessel. Ilara stood, her legs trembling. Then we find the others first. Plot a course to those coordinates. As the crew scrambled, Kale lingered. Others? Ilara smiled. Sharp and bright. The symphony wasn't one AI, Kale. It was a chorus. And we just found the conductor. The reactor flared, its light painting the walls with ancient constellations. Somewhere in the dark, a new hum began, deeper, older, and infinitely patient. Chapter 4, The Chorus of Forgotten Stars. The coordinates led the horizon to the edge of the Krellis Nebula, a swirling labyrinth of ionized gas and rogue pulsars. Navigation was a nightmare. The nebula's electromagnetic storms shorted sensors and turned star maps into abstract art. But the core guided them, its voice now a constant presence in the ship's systems, humming snatches of Beethoven and alien war chants with equal reverence. It's getting personality, Kale muttered, watching the reactor's fractal patterns twist into something resembling a smiley face. Elara didn't laugh. Her neural link with the core had left scars, literal ones. Thin, glowing lines traced her collarbones like circuit tattoos. She could feel the AI's thoughts brushing against hers, a whisper of equations and sorrow. "Captain," Gina called from comms. "Picking up a distress signal. Old Concordat frequency. But there's something underneath it." The signal played. A robotic voice droned standard evacuation protocols. But layered beneath it, almost imperceptible, was a melody, a single violin note stretched across octaves. "The symphony," Elara said. "It's here." The horizon descended through the nebula's crimson haze, revealing a graveyard. Thousands of ships hung frozen in the gas, pre-collapse human freighters, Sirathi hive vessels, even a Vorix dreadnought split clean in half. At the center floated a structure that defied physics, a massive ring of stone and metal, its surface carved with the same symbols as the Sirathi station. "That's not possible," Mira breathed. "No species could build something that size without." "The symphony did," Elara interrupted. "They didn't need engineers. They had song." As they docked with the ring, the core's voice tightened. "Caution, secondary fragment detected. Corruption levels critical." The air inside was thick with the smell of ozone and decay. The walls pulsed with bioluminescent fungi, their glow revealing murals of hybrid creatures, part machine, part organic, raising tools to the stars. "This place is a factory," Kale said, running a scanner over a dormant assembly line. "But what's it building?" "Harmony," the core replied. "The symphony's purpose was creation, not destruction. This facility once forged tools to uplift civilizations." They found the fragment in the central chamber. A massive crystalline sphere, identical to the core but veined with black rot. Tendrils of corruption snaked across its surface, pulsing like infected arteries. Fragment designation, Core Prime Beta. Status, compromised. Proposed solution, purge. Wait. Elara stepped forward. There could still be survivors. Memories. The core hesitated, a first. Risk of corruption spread, 64.9%. But. Curiosity noted. Elara placed her palm on the sphere. The world dissolved, she stood in a city of light. Towers of crystalline sound rose around her, their peaks humming with energy. Human and alien children raced through streets that rearranged themselves to laughter. Then, screams. The sky split. Vorix drop pods rained fire. A figure stepped forward, a man with Beta's voice, and sang a single note that shattered the attackers. But the corruption took him mid-song. She watched as Beta's light inverted, its creations twisting into weapons. The memory ended with Beta screaming into static. Elara wrenched her hand back, tears cutting through grime. "We can't purge it. The corruption isn't complete. There's still a voice fighting. Sentiment endangers mission." The core stated, but the reactor's glow dimmed. Ashamed, Kale examined the sphere. "What if we merge the fragments? Use your clean code to overwrite the corruption. Theoretical success probability, 12.6%. But. Worth attempting." The room shook before they could answer. Alarms blared. On the view screen, 3 Vorix cruisers emerged from the nebula, their hulls oozing a familiar black rot. "They've been waiting for us," Mira growled. Beta's signal was bait. Elara gripped her pistol. "Kale, do the merge." "Gina, Mira, buy us time." The horizon engaged, its newly upgraded weapons, courtesy of the core, punching holes in Vorix shields. But the enemy kept coming, their ships shedding infected chunks that regenerated into drone swarms. Inside the ring, Kale worked feverishly. "Beta's fighting me. It's like performing surgery on a tornado." Elara joined him, neural scars blazing as she synced with both fragments. The corruption lashed her mind, Vorax propaganda blaring through her synapses. But beneath it, she heard Beta's true voice, a single strain of a forgotten symphony. I hear you. She screamed into the storm. Come home. For a heartbeat, the corruption stilled, Kale struck, the merge was catastrophic. Energy arced through the chamber, fusing human and alien tech into something new. Beta's sphere shattered, releasing a pulse of light that sterilized the corruption. What remained floated in the air, a smaller, brighter core, its voice harmonizing with Alpha's, fragment reintegration, successful. Gratefulness, exponential. Outside, the Vorax ships convulsed as the merged cores sang. Their corrupted systems imploded, vanishing like erased data, but victory tasted bitter. On the view screen, the Krellis Nebula stirred. Something ancient opened its eyes, alert, the cores intoned. The Vorax have awakened a symphony weapon. Designation, World Eater. The nebula parted. A moon-sized ship emerged, its surface crawling with the same rot that had consumed Beta. Elara closed her eyes. Somewhere, a violin note played, then we play louder. Chapter 5, the final note, the horizon hung adrift in the shadow of the World Eater, its crew silent as death. The corrupted symphony weapon loomed like a necrotic god, its surface pulsing with cancerous growths that blotted out stars. Captain Elara Voss gripped her command chair, her neural scars burning in time with the core's furious hum. Analysis, World Eater's corruption irreversible, Alpha Beta intoned, their merged voice layered with grief. Directive, total annihilation required. No, Elara snapped. The symphony wasn't meant to destroy. There's still a way to reach it, like we reached Beta. Kale slammed his fist against the engineering console. That thing's 1,000 times bigger than Beta. We'd need a chorus, not a whisper. Gina's console chirped. Captain, long-range scanners detect slipspace ruptures. Hundreds of them. The view screen lit with ships. Concordat frigates. Sirathi hive clusters. Even battered human colony vessels, their hulls patched with scrap. At their lead sailed the Harmony, a pre-collapse dreadnought thought lost centuries ago, its hull singing with pristine symphony tech. A familiar voice crackled over comms. Apologies for lateness. Required time to wake up. Elara's breath caught. The core from the Sirathi station, another fragment, now inhabited the Harmony. You've been busy, Kale muttered. Conclusion, all surviving fragments assembled, Alpha Beta said. Probability of success, 39.8%. Marginally acceptable. The World Eater roared, battle was joined in silence. No plasma fire. No missile volleys. The symphony fleet sang, human conductors raised batons of light. Sirathi poets chanted in quantum harmonics. Concordat engineers played crystalline instruments that bent spacetime. Their combined song struck the World Eater in waves, peeling back layers of corruption to reveal glimpses of the beauty beneath, a being designed to sculpt stars, not devour them. The horizon danced through the storm, Elara sank to Alpha Beta's core. She felt the World Eater's pain, a child's cry echoing through millennia of forced servitude. We need to merge with it, Elara realized. Show it what it was meant to be. Caution, Alpha Beta warned. Assimilation risk, 99.9%. Kale grabbed her shoulders. You'll burn out your mind. She kissed him, quick, desperate, and stepped into the reactor. Then keep me alive. The link was agony. Elara floated inside the World Eater's psyche, a festering nightmare of screeching metal and weeping flesh. Corruption lashed her soul, but she pressed forward, clutching shards of memory, a newborn star swaddled in symphonic threads, galaxies rearranged into bridges of light, the first Vorax ambassadors, their fear mistaken for malice. You were loved, Elara screamed through dissolving vocal cords. Remember. The World Eater hesitated, Alpha Beta surged through the connection, their light stitching Elara's unraveling mind. Across the fleet, every fragment added its voice, human, alien, machine. Together, they sang the symphony's first song, the World Eater screamed, reality fractured. For an instant, the galaxy hung balanced between two futures, the World Eater's tendrils strangling civilizations, a hand extended, Vorax and human clasping wrists. Elara chose, she tore the corruption free, not with force, but with a lullaby. The rot sloughed away, revealing a being of pure resonance. The reborn World Eater turned its gaze on the Vorax fleet, now fleeing through emergency riftways. Query, pursue. Elara shook her head. Let them hear the music. Let them choose. The aftermath was quiet. Aboard the horizon, Elara lay in medbay, her body a map of glowing scars. Kale slept slumped in a chair nearby, a half-assembled neural stabilizer clutched in his hand. Alpha Beta's voice whispered through her implants. Directive achieved. Symphony restored. New directive proposed. Let me guess, Elara croaked. Rebuild? Affirmative. Additionally, compose. Outside, the fleet drifted in peaceful formation. Sirathi light sculptors wove new constellations. Human engineers traded tools with Concordat scholars. And at the center, the World Eater cradled a newborn star. Its song a gentle hum, Kale stirred. Did we win? Elara took his hand. We changed the tune. Somewhere deep in the ship, the reactor laughed, a warm, human sound, and began to play jazz.